Life is a journey filled with moments of triumph and times of despair. One of the most powerful qualities a person can possess is persistence through struggles. It's easy to keep moving forward when everything is going well, when the path is smooth, and success feels within reach. But true strength is revealed when the road becomes rough, when uncertainty clouds our vision, and when it feels like the world is pressing against us. In those times, persistence becomes not just a choice, but a lifeline. It becomes the quiet, stubborn refusal to let failure define us or to let pain and disappointment break us. Struggles are an inevitable part of life. Whether they come in the form of personal loss, failure, rejection, or simply the weariness that comes from trying so hard for so long, they test the very foundation of who we are. They challenge our patience, shake our confidence, and make us question our worth and purpose. But they also serve another purpose. They shape us. Every time we choose to keep going in the face of adversity, we become stronger, wiser, and more prepared for whatever lies ahead. Persistence is not about denying reality or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about acknowledging the pain, facing the fear, and still deciding to keep moving forward. It's the act of waking up each day and choosing to try again, even when yesterday felt like a failure. It's about learning from mistakes rather than being defeated by them. The road to any meaningful achievement is rarely straight or easy. It winds through valleys of doubt and mountains of obstacles, but those who endure the journey, who continue to climb when the path gets steep, are the ones who reach the summit. Often, success is much closer than we think. There are countless stories of people who gave up just before a breakthrough. They were tired, discouraged, and unable to see that victory was just beyond the next effort. That's why persistence matters so deeply. It's not always about being the smartest or the most talented. Sometimes it's simply about being the one who didn't quit. The ability to persevere in the darkest of times can make all the difference. Struggles can also teach us compassion and empathy. When we've been through difficult times ourselves, we're better equipped to understand and support others in their pain. Our hardships become a source of strength, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. They allow us to inspire others to say with honesty and authenticity, "I've been there too, and I made it through." In the end, persistence through struggles is an act of courage. It's choosing hope over despair, action over surrender, and growth over stagnation. It's knowing that no storm lasts forever and that within us lies the power to overcome, even when it feels impossible. Life may not always be fair or easy, but the ability to keep going, no matter what truly defines success. When we persist, we honor our dreams, our efforts, and our future. And in doing so, we write a story not of defeat, but of resilience, victory, and unshakable strength. There are moments in life when exhaustion takes over physically, emotionally, and mentally. The weight of our goals, responsibilities, and dreams can become overwhelming, making us feel like we've hit a wall. In such times, it's natural to want to stop, to shut everything out, and to walk away from the pressure. But the truth is, it's okay to rest. It's okay to pause, take a breath, and gather yourself. What matters most is that you don't give up. Resting is not quitting. It's a necessary part of the journey that allows you to recover, reflect, and return with renewed strength. Life is not a race to be run in one breath. It's a marathon filled with challenges, detours, and moments of stillness. Every person, no matter how strong, needs time to rest. Even the most determined hearts get tired. Even the bravest minds face moments of doubt. But taking a break doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise enough to listen to your body and soul. It means you value your energy and well-being enough to pause and recharge instead of burning out completely. There's a quiet power in rest. It gives you a chance to see things more clearly, to reconnect with your purpose, and to remember why you started in the first place. Sometimes, when we push ourselves too hard without stopping, we begin to lose sight of our vision. We become trapped in a cycle of fatigue, and in that tiredness, everything feels heavier than it really is. Resting breaks that cycle. It gives space for clarity, for healing, and for perspective. Not giving up, however, is the commitment you make to your dreams even when they feel far away. It's the vow to return, to keep trying, and to keep believing. Many people confuse resting with giving up because they've been taught to equate constant motion with progress. But real progress often includes moments of stillness. It's in the quiet, restful moments that ideas grow, strength rebuilds, and courage is reborn. When life becomes too much, resting allows you to avoid making permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. Giving up often comes from a place of fatigue where everything feels impossible simply because you are worn out. But if you rest instead, if you allow yourself time to breathe, sleep, cry, or reflect, you give yourself the gift of a second wind. And with that, you can return to your path not with despair, but with a deeper resilience. Great achievements aren't made in a straight line. They are built through persistence, reflection, and care. They require effort, yes, but also self-compassion. Resting is an act of compassion toward yourself. It says, I matter too, my health matters, my peace matters. And that compassion fuels the journey ahead in ways that constant struggle cannot. So when you feel overwhelmed, don't see it as the end. See it as a signal to rest. Sit down for a while, gather your thoughts, and let your heart breathe. Then, when you are ready, stand up again. Keep walking toward your goals even if it's slow. Keep believing in your vision even if the world seems to doubt it. Your journey is not over just because you paused. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is take a moment of rest so that you can rise again, stronger, wiser, and ready to continue. Don't give up, just rest, then begin again. Uncertainty is one of the most uncomfortable feelings a person can experience. It leaves us suspended in the unknown, unsure of what's coming next, and unable to plan or control the future. Whether it's related to relationships, careers, health, or life decisions, uncertainty brings fear, anxiety, and restlessness. But what we often forget in those moments of confusion is that uncertainty is not forever. It is a passing phase, a fog that clouds our path for a while but eventually lifts, revealing direction, clarity, and peace. Just like storms don't last forever, neither does uncertainty. When you're in the middle of it, uncertainty can feel endless. Every day becomes a mental struggle, filled with unanswered questions and imagined worst-case scenarios. You may wonder if things will ever get better, if you'll ever feel secure again, or if you'll find the answers you're searching for. But the truth is, clarity always comes. Maybe not in the way or at the speed we expect, but it does come. Time has a way of unfolding the answers we need, slowly but surely, and often it's in those very moments of not knowing that we grow the most. Uncertainty forces us to confront our fears and sit with discomfort. It teaches patience in a world that urges us to rush. When you're unsure of what's next, you start to develop a deeper sense of trust, not just in the process, but in yourself. You begin to realize that you don't need all the answers right now to move forward. You learn to take one step at a time, to breathe through the chaos, and to let life unfold naturally. These moments are uncomfortable, yes, but they are also powerful. They teach you resilience, faith, and adaptability. The hardest part about uncertainty is letting go of control. We like knowing what's coming, where we're headed, and how things will turn out, but life doesn't always offer that kind of predictability. In fact, some of the most beautiful and meaningful things in life come from moments of not knowing. Relationships that bloom unexpectedly, opportunities that arise out of nowhere, strength that appears when you thought you had none left. All of these are born from uncertain moments. If life were always certain, it would also be limited. Uncertainty, though difficult, is also a space where possibilities live. There is comfort in remembering that nothing in life is fixed. The things that cause you stress today might be resolved by tomorrow. The questions that haunt you now might be answered in a way you never imagined. Even the feelings of fear and doubt that seem so overwhelming are temporary. They rise, stay for a while, and eventually fade. Your job is not to rush through uncertainty, but to endure it with hope, to remind yourself that it will pass, to hold on, even when it feels like you're walking through fog, knowing that the sun always rises. Growth often happens in the unknown. It's where you learn the most about who you are, what you value, and what you truly want from life. It's in uncertainty that you become resourceful, thoughtful, and brave. And while it might not feel like it, you are building strength each day you wake up and face another unknown moment. That strength will carry you forward long after the uncertainty is gone. So when life feels unclear, when the future looks blurry and the present feels unstable, take a deep breath and remind yourself, this won't last forever. Uncertainty is temporary. Answers will come. Peace will return. And until it does, you are doing just fine by simply holding on. The way we see the world has a profound effect on how we experience it. Two people can go through the same situation and come away with completely different feelings, not because the facts were different, but because their perspectives were. Perspective matters more than we often realize. It shapes our thoughts, our emotions, and ultimately, our actions. It can turn a challenge into a lesson or a setback into an opportunity. Perspective doesn't change the situation itself, but it changes how we respond to it, and that can change everything. Life is unpredictable. We face failures, disappointments, and unexpected turns. When we look at these events with a negative mindset, they feel like heavy burdens, reasons to give up, or proof that we're not good enough. But if we choose to view them differently, as temporary trials or stepping stones to growth, they become easier to bear. That choice, how we interpret what happens to us, is the power of perspective. It gives us control in moments where everything else feels uncertain. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to fall into a spiral of frustration or self-pity, but pausing and asking ourselves, what else could this mean, opens the door to a new way of thinking. Maybe the failure wasn't a defeat, but a redirection. Maybe the delay wasn't a denial, but a preparation. By changing how we see the situation, we can also change how it affects us emotionally. Perspective helps us shift from being a victim of our circumstances to an active participant in our growth. Often, our initial reactions are based on emotion, especially when we're hurt, disappointed, or stressed. But emotions, while important, are not always accurate guides. They reflect how we feel in the moment, not the bigger picture. Taking a step back, breathing, and viewing the situation from a broader angle can help us gain clarity. We start to see not just what went wrong, but what we might learn from it, what we still have to be thankful for, and how this moment fits into the longer story of our lives. Perspective also helps us in relationships. Misunderstandings and conflicts often arise because we see things only from our own point of view. When we try to look through someone else's eyes, when we pause to consider their feelings, experiences, and intentions, we open the door to empathy and connection. Perspective doesn't mean we have to agree with everyone, but it does allow us to understand them better, and that understanding can lead to peace instead of tension. There will always be things in life we can't control, other people's actions, unforeseen events, sudden changes. But perspective is one thing we can always choose. It's the lens through which we view the world, and just like a camera lens, we can adjust it to bring things into better focus. When we choose to see with hope instead of fear, with compassion instead of judgment, and with gratitude instead of resentment, our entire experience of life changes. What we focus on grows. If we look for the good, we will find it. If we seek meaning in our struggles, we will discover it. Perspective is not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to see the full picture, including the hidden blessings, the lessons in pain, and the light even in the darkest times. And that choice, made again and again, can turn an ordinary life into an extraordinary one, because how we see the world ultimately becomes the world we live in. Inner strength is one of the most powerful and enduring qualities a person can have. It's not loud or showy, and it doesn't always draw attention. In fact, it often works in silence, rising up when no one is watching and pushing us forward when everything around us feels like it's falling apart. Inner strength is the quiet determination to keep going, the resilience to withstand life's storms, and the courage to face challenges head on. It's the power within us that doesn't fade even when we're tired, afraid, or uncertain. There are times in life when outer strength, our physical ability, resources, or support systems can only take us so far. That's when inner strength steps in. When you're faced with loss, rejection, failure, or heartbreak, it's not your appearance, your status, or even your achievements that carry you through. It's what's inside. It's your mindset, your heart, your beliefs, and your will to rise again. Inner strength is built in the shadows, often forged in pain. It is born in the moments when you feel like giving up but choose to keep moving anyway. This strength doesn't mean being emotionless or never feeling weak. In fact, true inner strength includes vulnerability. It's the ability to cry when you need to, admit when you're hurting, and still find the courage to keep going. It's not about being unaffected by life, but about learning how to live through it with grace, patience, and determination. Inner strength allows you to bend without breaking and to grow through what you go through. Life is unpredictable, and at some point, everyone is tested. Relationships may end, plans may fail, loved ones may leave. Dreams may feel out of reach. During those times, the value of inner strength becomes undeniable. It keeps you grounded when your world is shaking. It reminds you of your worth when doubt whispers lies in your ear. It helps you find light in the darkest nights, not because the darkness isn't real, but because you've learned how to shine from within. Inner strength also teaches self-reliance. It doesn't mean you don't need others or that you always have to do everything alone, but it gives you the confidence to trust yourself, to believe in your own ability to face whatever life throws your way. It tells you that even if the world goes quiet, you still have your voice. Even if everything around you changes, you still have your core. That kind of stability, that deep-rooted strength, is priceless. You may not always notice when your inner strength is growing. It happens in small, quiet ways, in the decisions you make to heal, the boundaries you set to protect your peace, and the moments you choose hope over despair. Every time you get back up after being knocked down, your strength deepens. Every time you face your fears, your courage expands. And every time you love yourself through the pain, your heart becomes stronger. In a world that often focuses on surface-level success and external validation, inner strength is a reminder that the most important battles are often won within. It's not about how things look, but about how you feel, how you stand, and how you move forward when it's hard. It's what allows you to live a life of integrity, resilience, and purpose. The value of inner strength isn't always seen immediately, but over time, it becomes the foundation for a life well lived. It's what carries you through the storms and into the light again and again. Victory is not always about talent, luck, or timing. More often, it belongs to those who refuse to give up, those who stay consistent, who remain focused, and who continue to move forward no matter how slow the progress may seem. Being steadfast means having the discipline to keep showing up, the resilience to withstand failures, and the faith to believe in the destination even when the path is filled with obstacles. Victory comes not to those who start fast, but to those who endure until the end. In life, there will always be setbacks. There will be disappointments that break your spirit, people who doubt your journey, and moments when the results don't match your effort. During these times, it's easy to feel like quitting. But those who are steadfast keep going. They know that success is not always immediate. It's not a straight line. It takes time, patience, and a strong will. While others may stop when it gets hard, the steadfast persist. And that persistence becomes their greatest strength. Steadfastness isn't about being perfect, it's about being committed. Even when you fail, you don't walk away. Even when progress is invisible, you don't stop trying. You learn from your mistakes, you get back up, and you keep going. This unwavering attitude builds character. It transforms you from someone who only dreams into someone who does, because action, repeated with faith and purpose, leads to growth, and growth leads to success. In every field, whether it's education, sports, business, or personal development, the people who succeed are often not the most gifted, but the most determined. They're the ones who kept studying when it was difficult to focus, who practiced every day when no one was watching, who failed multiple times and still stood up again. They built their victory not on luck, but on effort layered over time. That's what being steadfast looks like. Quiet dedication and unshakable commitment. There's also a deep sense of peace that comes from being steadfast. When you commit to a goal and decide not to give up, you stop wasting energy on doubts. You focus your strength on action. You realize that not every day will be productive, and that's okay. What matters is that you return to your purpose again and again. Over time, this consistency adds up. Small efforts repeated daily become powerful. What once felt impossible begins to take shape, and eventually, what you dreamed of becomes what you live. Being steadfast also inspires others. When people see you continuing in the face of failure, they learn what true strength looks like. You become an example, not because you never fell, but because you always got back up. Your endurance becomes a light for others to follow. You teach by example that persistence is more powerful than speed, and that discipline is more lasting than motivation. Victory may not come in the way you imagined. It may not be dramatic or immediate, but it will come to those who stay the course. The reward for being steadfast is not only the success at the end, but the transformation along the way. You become stronger, wiser, and more grounded. You discover your capacity to overcome, and when you finally achieve your goal, it means more, because you earned it step by step through effort and endurance. So no matter how hard it gets, no matter how far the finish line seems, don't stop. Stay steady, stay faithful to your path. Remember that victory is not given, it's earned by those who continue when others stop. And it always comes in time to the steadfast.